So today I'm hiking a hike in North Mills River. It's called Coffee Pot Loop. It's about 8 miles. There are two ways in here to hike it. I usually go the other way because it's less driving and it's a little tougher that way. But I felt lazy today, so I thought I'd hike it this way. So the hike is going to start out with a climb up onto Trace Ridge. It's a couple miles of climbing, and it kind of, I don't know if you can see, but this is where we start the climb, and I'll pick up a little bit when we're up on top of the ridge. Up on the ridge now, because the leaves are down, it's December, you get some visibility. The ridge, however, continues to climb for the next couple miles, I guess. I just ran into a deer hunter, so I'm going to stop here and put my orange "Don't Shoot Me Please" hunting vest on my backpack, which I carry for just such emergencies. Still climbing. And still climbing. And still climbing. But we're getting pretty close to the top of the ridge now. Then the ridge will start to descend. And then we'll turn to the west and head down toward tributaries of North Mills River. Alright, well, I've just turned off of Trace Ridge. I'm on Spence Creek Trail now, and headed down toward the, there are a lot of creeks down here. Spence Creek, Fletcher, there's the old Hendersonville Reservoir. But anyway, it's downhill for a ways now till we get down to we're walking along some creeks, and starts out just little ones and just gets to be more of them, feeding and feeding until it's a river. North Mills River. Alright, more later. Here's a real pretty little spring. I don't know if you can see the water coming up there. It's pretty, I think. Something about a mountain spring, that clear, cold water. It's beautiful. Well, there's my trail. I'm still heading basically down. I'll come back on when we get down by the first creek. Well, here's Spence Creek. I'm headed down the trail here through Spence Gap. Pretty much flattened out now. Well, it's probably slightly downhill because the creek's flowing this way, but fairly flat. Very pretty day. Here, let me stop for a second so it's not shaking around so much. Sun's shining pretty bright here, but here's a little creek crossing. I don't know if I can do this with my camera in my hand or not. We'll find out. Alright, did that. See, the creek splits right here. So here's a pretty spot where the creek kind of broadens out into a couple of ponds. There are a couple of beaver dams in here, and I see one right over there. I've hiked through here many times, and always I'm quiet coming through here. And many times I've seen the work, the evidence of the beavers, but only once have I caught a beaver swimming. And of course they're pretty careful about that, since their survival depends on, I don't want to shine this thing up into the sun, but it's a very open area, and so they're pretty vulnerable to birds of prey coming by. So they're very careful. I've only seen one time. That was kind of a treat. Well, it's quite pretty hiking down through this river valley. You can see there the creek's getting bigger and bigger, and I'm going to have to cross it 3 or 4 times here coming up. This is a place where I try to get across. I don't know if you can see. Let's see. That log has got a big crack right there in the middle of it. I've crossed it about 20 times. Every time I do, I always think, well, I cheated fate once more. I'm going to see if I can cheat fate today. So here's another crossing that's a little bit tricky to walk across on that log there. I've managed that so far every time too. We'll see if I can do it today. Well, a lot more creeks have combined in, and it's a good bit bigger now than it was back up the mountain where we started. Pretty cold too. Well, there's the trail over there. There's a little bit of a tricky crossing. Let's see what we can do. We've made all of them so far. Well, here's the old Hendersonville Reservoir. Little spillway. You can see what was once a little creek. Pretty good size now. We're going to keep on heading down following the river. Little waterfall coming down into the river.